Hey everyone, today we're going to make bread which is also known as pav. So let's get started. Let's start with activating the yeast. For this I need 1 cup and 3/4 of warm milk. Next add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon and half a teaspoon of dry instant yeast. Now just stir this well and you're going to let it rest for a good 10 to 15 minutes or until the yeast rises. I'm just going to put a lid on it and set it aside. Now let's check the yeast. It's perfectly activated. Now we'll start with the dough. We need 4 cups of all-purpose flour. We'll need 3 tablespoons of milk powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1.5 tablespoons of butter. I prefer adding it at this time rather than later. I'll start with mixing out the dry ingredients with a very gentle hand and just try to blend in the butter. Now it's time to add in the yeast and the milk. Make sure you get all of it out, especially the frothy yeast. You may feel like there's a lot of liquid added to this, but don't worry. Once you start kneading it, you will realize that it's almost proper consistency that you need for this dough. If you feel that your dough is a little too sticky or a little too wet, do not add any more flour to it because this will hamper your end product. After 15 minutes of kneading, this is what your dough is going to start looking like. It's all coming together well, but also at the same time, it is quite elastic and it is quite sticky. Now you can see this dough is almost ready. I'm going to move it to the center of the bowl and I'm going to let it rest for a good 1 hour. I'm going to cover it with cling. You could also transfer it into another bowl which is a little bigger and is airtight. After 1 hour, my dough has risen and has increased by 3 or 4 times of its original size. At this point of time, I'm going to open it and I'm going to knead this dough again for another 2 to 3 minutes. Now I'm going to set this dough aside and I'm going to take a tin which I'm going to grease with a little bit of butter. Now I'm only greasing the base. I don't really need to baste the sides. I'm going to remove small portions dough and I'm going to round them up in between my palms. We're looking at the size of a ping pong ball, not too big and not too small either. I'm just going to place them up on the tray. And make sure that you leave sufficient gap between each ball because the dough has to rest again and these balls will require space to expand again in size. So once my trays are filled, I'm going to cover them with a dry towel and I'm going to let it rest for another 20 to 30 minutes. Quick tip to help your dough rise faster is you could place these next to your gas stove or your cooking range. The passive heat will help your dough rise faster. Now just brush the top of your dough with a little milk. You'll need to preheat your oven at 200 for 10 minutes and then you will bake these breads in the oven for 15 minutes at 200. Once the breads are out of the oven, I'm going to cover them with a dry towel and let it rest for another 5 minutes. And now your bread is ready to serve hot. If you did like the recipe, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button.